beautiful twin flames, and welcome back to Tarot for You 444. I'm so delighted to have you here with me, and I really want to have a little talk to you today about how profound a couple of movies are that I've recently seen. In fact, one of them's a very old, like an older movie, and it's called Dirty Dancing, and it features Patrick Swayze, and I don't know, it's got that famous line, "Nobody puts baby in the corner," right? So most of you will have seen that movie, and if you haven't seen that movie, I would invite you to, go and watch it. There's a really beautiful message in there about how, the woman, the protagonist in that movie, her name's Baby, and she really finds Patrick Swayze's character, Johnny, to be kind of ruthless and kind of sexy, but also she sees his soul. And so he's kind of a really good example of a divine masculine who is experiencing life in the 3D. He's, having money troubles, perhaps he's having issues with, karmic people, and he's frustrated, and he feels somewhat like he's on his own, or he has to stand up for himself. And throughout the movie, she sees him for his soul, and she sees the beauty in him for what he's trying to become. Okay, so he's not fully there yet. He doesn't realize how beautiful he is until kind of like the end of the movie. And she, of course, finds herself within him as well. So it's a really great twin flame movie. The other movie I want to talk about a little bit too is called Crazy for Her, and it's on Netflix. And I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure that it's an Italian movie. And in the movie, like you can choose it to be English, so you can have voiceover in English if you don't understand. It's either Spanish or Italian. I'm not 100% sure. This movie is really beautiful. I don't want to tell you what happens in the movie, but it's kind of where the divine masculine in that movie sees the beauty within the divine feminine, and kind of won't give up on her throughout the movie. And so what happens in the twin flame journey is that we often see the divine counterpart for who they are, and we realize that there is some kind of duality. Maybe we don't necessarily like everything that our twin flame is being, or maybe we don't mind. Depends on where you're at in the journey. But whatever you want to say to your twin flame, I encourage you to look at yourself and say it to yourself. Okay, so let me explain this a little bit further. So if you know that your twin flame has a bad behavior, like smoking or drinking or some kind of drug addiction, or I don't know, he's addicted to collecting stamps. That would be a fun one, wouldn't it? That's actually a fun hobby, by the way. But let's say that there's some behavior that you don't like that they do. I don't know, they're hoarding teacups in their living room or something weird, right? Those behaviors are usually either hobbies or coping mechanisms. So that's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about if your twin flame was standing in front of you right now, many divine feminines would, I'm laughing, would have something to say that might not be so kind. It might be something like, you know, hey Jack, why did you abandon me? You know, haven't heard from you since, I don't know, the pandemic began or something. Or, hey bucko, how come you treat me like shit all the time, right? So what I want you to do with these comments that you have towards your divine masculine, like, you know, hey, you know, that text message that was going to come 3 months ago hasn't arrived yet. I'm pissed off with you for abandoning me. Let's say that's what it was. I want you to look in the mirror or at yourself. I mean, it's pretty hard to look at yourself without looking in the mirror, I suppose. Maybe use your phone on your camera. Oh, your camera on your phone. Oh, you know what I mean. I want you to say it to yourself. So if you are pissed off for your twin flame abandoning you, I want you to say, I'm pissed off at you, right? And my name's Nat, so I would say Nat, for abandoning yourself, right? Because usually whatever you want to say to your divine masculine is something you could say to yourself. Okay, so if they're lying or cheating or doing those kind of behaviors, that's a coping mechanism. So that's not what I'm talking about. But whatever feeling you're feeling towards them, I want you to say it to yourself. So if you're feeling angry, you say, I'm so angry at you for not showing up when you said you would. I want you to look in your camera's phone or your phone's camera or your mirror and say the same thing to yourself. Okay? So we could call this the phone camera exercise. Alright? Because if you're angry with them, you're angry with yourself. If you're pissed off at them, there's something inside of you that you're pissed off about in general. Alright? As we ascend higher and higher on the journey and we come to realize that, you know, you are your twin flame, you begin to stop seeing them from that dualistic point of view. You begin to stop saying, well, they live in Antarctica, right? Because so many people live there, right? And I live in, I don't know, where can I live? Where do I want to go today? Maybe, I don't know, I live in Spain, all right? So, yes, their body and their mind is over there, and yes, your body and mind is over here, but this is a soul-to-soul connection, okay? So if you want to attract your twin flame and you want to heal the things in between you and your twin flame, you need to have a conversation with yourself. Wow, that was kind of profound, wasn't it? Donkey likes that idea because he loves talking to himself. And of course, we all know that his girlfriend or his twin flame is a dragon. And kind of a bit weird, but anyway, we can't we can't blame the divine for what they do, can we? It's just the way it is. So tonight I'm in my pajamas talking to you on YouTube because I wanted you to understand this. I wanted you to understand that no matter what your twin flame is doing, it kind of doesn't matter. It really only matters what you're doing. And until they come to you in the 3D reality, you know, for real, it really is all about your energy and how you attract them in energetically. So to do that, you need to be high vibrational, number one. You also need to know how to go within and spend time with yourself. And that can be difficult for some of you because many times we don't want to look inside of ourselves because there's a lot of pain and hurt there. I also want to talk about how divine feminines who haven't kind of come to terms with their own knowing about who they are yet, they don't have enough boundaries. And many times, many divine feminines, because they're empathic in some kind of way, or because they're a light worker or a helper, or they do something for the planet, whether that's their job type or their mission, they often keep giving so much of themselves that they don't have enough energy left for themselves, which means that they are negating their own twin flame journey at the same time as they're giving out all of this stuff. So they can become tired easily, they can become exhausted easily, they can become feel like they're abandoned. For some divine feminines, they can feel as though they're alone, which is similar to abandonment as well. But if your twin flame, whether you're a divine masculine or feminine, doesn't really matter, but if your twin flame is coming to you in the 3D reality and they're not being real with you, you need to have a boundary there where you say, these are my stipulations. If we're going to talk to one another, you need to keep your promises, might be one thing. You need to be honest with me. You need to have integrity when you speak with me. Because trust is a really important thing on the twin flame journey. And if you finally manage to get your divine masculine to come to you in the 3D, but he's acting in a distorted way, that can be really frustrating, because a lot of people will say, well, yeah, I spoke to my twin flame last week, but he's still being an asshole. Or I spoke to my twin flame and he said he was going to message me on Monday, and it took him a further 20 days to message me. So I want you to have boundaries with the people around you, and I also want you to have boundaries with your twin flame. Your twin flame needs to show up for you in a way that's suitable to you as well. And I'm not saying you have to have a big, long list of rules, but I often say, if you're going to play a game of tennis with somebody, make sure you're both on the same court, okay? Because if they're playing Monopoly and you think you're playing tennis, then, that's a whole nother ball game, right? Baseball would have probably been a better metaphor for that. But everyone in your life needs to know that you have boundaries. So you need to be able to let your twin flame know that you expect a certain thing of them if they're going to be in your life. So maybe don't say, you have to marry me by Christmas this year. I mean, you can manifest that, but you don't want to be giving them like deadlines for marriage and things if that's what you want. But anyway, I just thought today would be useful if you went and watched the movie Dirty Dancing, and also the movie Crazy for Her, which is on Netflix. What else do I want to do? I want to say that the divine feminine is at the moment in a healing phase, in a healing stage. There's a real need for her to go within and be quiet. And we're kind of also in a phase where we need to let the divine masculine miss her. Okay, it's all right for him to miss her. So if you want to know what next steps to take right now, I would not suggest, messaging your divine masculine if you haven't, unless you're constantly messaging all the time and he's there in the 3D reality, I mean. I would not be messaging him. I would be staying completely silent. And my advice is for you to work on yourself. Anything that's pissing you off about him, say to yourself, you know, I'm really pissed off at you because you said you were going to, I don't know, send me an email 3 years ago and you didn't do it, right? Many divine feminines, remember, have issues with abandonment, have issues with creating boundaries for other people. All right, so if you're mad at your divine masculine for breaking some kind of boundary or not being respectful in some kind of way, it's probably because you're not setting boundaries in your life and not respecting yourself in some kind of way. You know, do you still have some kind of addiction? Do you still have some kind of bad behavior that you need to clear? Are you still holding off on doing the dishes for 3 weeks? You know, are you being irresponsible in some way, shape or form in your life? Because this will show up outside of you in your reality. And of course, your twin flame will mirror that back to you in some kind of way. So this is just a little heads up on what you can do. And of course, you know, tonight I wasn't going to do a message in my pajamas, but I might call it a message in my pajamas because that's funny. And I think I've got time to do a quick divine masculine check-in. We've always got time to see what he's up to, haven't we? Let's spy on the divine masculine today, because sometimes he's indeed very naughty, which means cheeky in Australia. We say cheeky over here in Australia. Wow, he's ready to speak already. Not getting any songs yet. I thought I might have a little karaoke session tonight, but not yet. The sun hasn't even gone down. I got my pajamas on. That's how you know I've had a great day. Maybe that's what all divine feminines need to do. Have a day in your pajamas. Okay. Wow. So I want to get some clarifiers on each row here. There we go. Wow. That's interesting. Just when I thought I knew what was going on with him, he changes trajectory again. Wow, divine masculine is a bit of a chameleon. That's one of those animals that changes color, you know, like if they're laying on a rock, they change color to match the rock and you don't know they're there. There's this want for him to have a victory, and there's this want for him to be, you know, be your daddy. Oh dear. You know, in a good way. These are the bottom of the deck energies. I'm just trying to flip them over. So in the recent past, he wanted to come into you in a sexy way. Okay. So why didn't he? That's the question, right? For many of you who are in communication with your divine masculine, some of these messages may apply, and some may not. So this is kind of for people who hear from their divine masculine or don't hear from their divine masculine, but then when they hear from their divine masculine, they don't know when they're going to hear from their divine masculine. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that. You think you're in union and then they go away, or you thought you were in union and then they went away kind of energy. So he's thinking in the recent past, I'm so in love with divine feminine, all I want to do is message her. And he's kind of having a freak out about it. It's like, I got a lot going on right now. I don't know if I should. Maybe she's just washed her hair and she's in her pajamas. She might be too busy for me. So he's kind of telling himself some excuses as to why he's not coming in. Interesting. This is a really interesting energy. The good news is that he's trying to be coming out of this ego here. He's trying to be loving, or he is being loving when he's thinking about divine feminine. And then we have this energy of, I really, 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 really miss her. Like, for some of you, he's been away for 4 weeks, up to 4 weeks, perhaps longer, perhaps months. Okay. And it's this energy of him wanting to come to you, but many of them being stuck because of the world situation. So, because of what's going on in the world, my job got in the way. Because of what's going on in the world, my nana's dog's best friend's auntie's cousin wouldn't let me borrow their phone. It's like this, because the world's topsy-turvy, his energy is kind of like that. It's weird. It's like he's been sucked into this pandemic hole that kind of freaked him out a little bit. The interesting part about this is that he hopes the divine feminine is doing really well, but he also has this hope that, I hope she's not single. I hope she's still single. I hope she's still single. And kind of waiting for me. So it's weird, even though he may not have messaged or may not have been messaging much, it's like, I hope she's still keeping herself for me. This energy's been coming through in the previous week, actually. So then he's kind of got this deceptive energy around him where it's like, I don't want to tell her that I've been going through something. I don't want to tell her that in the recent past I was feeling some kind of way. Manipulated by other people. Perhaps black magics for some of you. For those of you who don't believe in black magic, that's fine, but I've seen it happen to people before where there's been spell casting and there's been weird energy and just weird scenarios happen around people when they get with the wrong karmic, right? So take it how it resonates for you today, because it's kind of a bit of a weird energy, but there's this, I'm being really slow, but I really miss you. He's coming through as the Knight of Pentacles, divine feminine coming through here. He's viewing her as the Queen of Pentacles, someone loving, nurturing, grounded. But he's unable to move. It kind of feels like, in my mind, I want to say it's like a traffic jam. Like there you are zooming through on your way to work and everything's fine. And then it's like, it's this stagnant energy. So let's see what he wants to say to the divine feminine. We know that he loves her. We know that he's kind of stuck right now. We also know that there's some passion. There's that who's your daddy energy coming through. I love I love that card, who's your daddy. So, you know, I asked the divine feminine while I'm shuffling right now, you know, if your divine masculine was to come and see you today, are you wearing your pajamas? Are you wearing any makeup? Not that it matters, but you know what I mean? Would you be ready if he rang your doorbell right now? What would you want to go and fix up? You're probably wearing those old knickers. Or that lingerie that's not as sexy as you would have hoped to be wearing, right? So it's really funny. I love this energy. Okay, so yeah, I hope you're still single, divine feminine. Hope you're still single. That's a really big message coming through. Again, we have the Nine of Pentacles. It's in the upright this time. And then we've got, I'm spying on your social media. He's not committing to it though. You have the Hierophant in reverse, so maybe he's not liking your stuff, but he certainly is spying on it. And that's the secret. This is so funny. And then we have dogs barking, right? And dogs always let you know, when there's something there. So I'm getting my money together. Again, this theme about the money. I haven't quite got all my pentacles yet. I'm working on it. Right? I hope you're still single. And then he might even say, I'm a bit tired lately, but still in love with you, right? Then he says, my wish is to spy on your social media without you knowing. And the way you don't know is that I don't like anything. I just scroll through it and read all your stuff or watch all your stuff. And that's the secret, right? With the moon, that's the secret that you didn't know. And then he says, I go away sometimes and I think about what my life would be if you blocked me off. If you didn't want to know me, if you didn't want to speak to me, if you didn't want to be with me. And that kind of turns my world upside down. It's like this, I can only get an erection for you. That's kind of what's going on here. And many divine feminines will say the same thing. They can only become sexually aroused by their masculine. It's his voice, it's his way, it's his look, it's his, the feeling from him. It's the essence of each other. I'm laughing about him spying because that keeps coming up too. He's very definitely, if you have some kind of social media, he's spying on you. One last message here. Let's see what it is. Wow. Wow. And wow. It's like he's humbled himself here to some kind of degree. It's like he can see the light. It's like he can speak with God for those of them that are spiritual. Have the Judgment in reverse. I got the call a little while ago to tell me that you are the one. Again, we have this Nine of Pentacles. I hope you're still single. It's so cute. Right, so the Emperor is here again, and it's in the reverse. You know, I'm not quite the Emperor yet. I'm not quite the who's your daddy yet. But you know I'm the one for you, you know. It's kind of like that song, and I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. I'm not sure what he won't do, but that's where you need to go into your phone camera and say, Divine Masculine, I'm mad at you because you rode off in another boat with another woman last Friday. That's a joke, of course. This is about him wanting to move to calmer waters, wanting to stop the overthinking. Some divine feminines are overthinking. It's this tick, 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 tick in the brain that needs to stop. Especially when it's related to a potential karmic woman. Okay, that needs to stop, and there's a need for healing here. The High Priestess, which is the divine feminine, needs to come into this healing space. She needs to spend time with herself. Okay, spend time in nature perhaps. Spend time in her pajamas. Where's the High Priestess gone? She's hiding. Right? Not necessarily hiding away from the world, but not hiding away from the self anymore. Because as you come into knowing yourself, then your divine masculine comes into knowing who you are and what you need as well. What a beautiful reading. I hope you enjoyed this message in my pajamas. That's what I'm going to call it today, just because it's funny. And of course, men's pajamas men's pajamas are the most comfortable pajamas for you to ever buy. They're not very sexy, but they are very, very comfortable. And of course, these particular ones are kind of perfect for, you know, that in-between time when it's not too cold and not too hot. And then if it does get cold, you can put your dressing gown over the top. And it's just cool. So divine feminine need to go within, go within, go within, go within, because your Emperor seems to want to come to you, but the more you deny yourself, the more he will deny you. So if you wanted to say in your phone camera, right, you might record yourself saying, you never come to me. So I want you to say that to yourself. You never come to me. Okay? So if your divine masculine is not coming to you, you need to ask yourself if you are coming to you, to yourself. Okay? So the more time you spend with you, which is your soul, not your mind and your body, but your soul, the more likely your divine masculine is likely to show up like that. Really powerful, really strong, really confident. Some of you may have a divine masculine who has Aries in his chart. Okay? But look how confident he is. You know, he's the king of all kings. He has the love, he has the power, he has the clarity, and the passion as well. Okay, so he is the king of all kings. He knows many things. And he's on his way to you if you so choose to be on your way to you. Okay, so that's the message for today. And this message in my pajamas is coming to you live from Australia at 6:30 p.m. I'm in my pajamas. Isn't that cool? I'm living the dream. All right, the gang say hello, and we wish you a beautiful day, night, afternoon, evening, or morning, wherever you are in the world. Mwah. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. And don't forget to spend a day in your pajamas whenever you get the chance. And I'll see you all soon. Bye. Bye.